Good morning. It's 7 o'clock. I'm Grant Herms.
And I'm Priya Mann. Thanks for joining us for Local 4 News on a Saturday morning. Paul, we are expecting some pockets of rainier and severe weather today.
Yeah, we're going to see pockets of rain. That's a very good word, Priya, because it's not going to rain all day. And like you look at right now, there's really not a whole lot going on. But we have some activity that's starting to move into the picture back to the west. See a little thunderstorm there near Kalamazoo, and even farther back to the west here toward northeast Indiana. So we're going to be watching, again, batches of this stuff coming through. Just keep an eye on the app's real-time radar, and you'll stay ahead of this stuff. All right, four-zone weather. We have a front right across the area. Look at this, 75 at City Airport, 74 at Taylor, 73 at Metro. And then in our south zone, we're all in the 70s. We're south of that front in the warm air. But notice 66 at Saline, 63 at Howell, 64 in Milford. In our north zone, temperatures in the 60s, even the 50s. So today, the average high is going to be in the mid-70s south of that front, but cooler to the north with periodic showers and storms. Be back in just a few minutes to talk more about that Gaylord tornado, guys.
All right, thanks, Paul. We do continue to follow that breaking news. A tornado quickly moves through the town of Gaylord in the northern lower peninsula, leaving one person dead and dozens injured.
And the damage is devastating, with many homes and businesses leveled. That tornado touched down at around 4:30 Friday afternoon, right in the heart of the city. Our Mara McDonald joins us live from Gaylord. And Mara, very busy right where you are. Lots of activity this morning.
Priya, exactly. We are on M32, which is Main Street here, which is essentially the beginning of their central business corridor. You can see they got people out here cleaning stuff up. Power crews are everywhere. It's been a steady stream. And I know you've heard a lot about the Hobby Lobby damage. It's the big box store here, one of many that was damaged. But take a look. This is that Hobby Lobby. You can see the beginning of the damage here, but really it extends all the way to the street.
Oh, dear Jesus. The roof just came off. Oh, my God.
The tornado touching down around 3:45 yesterday afternoon and leaving a path of destruction, which started in a mobile home park and then went careening down the commercial corridor of downtown Gaylord.
I would say it was on the ground for a good 2 miles, and I did wipe out Hobby Lobby. It did wipe out Jimmy John's, the Quick Lube out there on our west side of town, and then it came into town and it wiped out a lot of homes.
The mayor estimates at least 10 homes are just gone. One person is confirmed dead and 44 other people were taken to the hospital. The governor arriving in Gaylord late last night to sign an emergency declaration.
I just want to say to the families who have been through an incredible stress and fear and destruction and impacted by the storm, and to everyone in this community, just want to say we are here, we are going to work closely, we're going to work together. We're going to recover.
Consumers has 100 people arriving this morning to tackle the power problem. The town is in the dark. The tornado took out a cell phone tower, so communications have been rough. Police locked down the town with a curfew that will be expiring in about an hour. Police checkpoints at major intersections to keep anyone but emergency crews out.
But I've never seen anything like it. You always see it on pictures and you always see it on TVs from other communities, but not in our backyard.
Back here live, not in their backyard for sure. The last time they had a tornado like this in Gaylord was 1950. They're just not used to it. What you're looking at right now is a portion of that Hobby Lobby, but also that was at one point a Jimmy John's sub shop. You can see just utterly destroyed. We're live in Gaylord this morning. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara, thank you.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate her showing us different portions of the cleanup as it begins this morning.
We'll have another update from her a little later on this morning as well.
And let's check in with our Jason Colthorpe, who visited that shelter that's been set up where impacted families have been staying overnight.
People calling about water. So
Yes,
is it okay
and
to
they
have
can bring
that down
yes,
here?
they can bring it here or into the middle entrance. The United Way is going to have a room set up.
In his 11 years in Gaylord, Pastor Scott Dissler has seen blizzards, but never tornadoes. And that's why when they hit today, he rushed to his mother's house to get her, and then he surveyed the damage.
Power poles snapped in half. You basically had to navigate like a war zone. You had to navigate around things just to try to get to her house and try to get her out of the house to get her to my house. And then I kind of went down in town just a little ways and started to see all the damage to the buildings. Didn't even make it down to the worst part. But yeah, it's like driving around a war zone.
His E-Free Church is ideal to help during this disaster. It's big, it has power and Wi-Fi. In fact, the Red Cross was set up and ready to take people in just 2 hours after the storm hit.
The goal here is to have a safe place for people to eat and to have a place to sleep in a disaster. We want to make sure that they're well cared for and then they feel safe.
And there's a lot of people in Gaylord displaced right now. There was trailer parks that were leveled, homes that were demolished. So we've just opened up our building, working with the Red Cross and the United Way, kind of a team effort, so that anybody that right now has a need has a safe place. In fact, if they need a ride here, we're even sending out our church vans or church buses to pick them up.
Jason Coulter, Local 4.
The shelter is for the families who've lost everything, but also for those who've lost power or might just need something to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's send it back to Paul for a look at the tornado's impact. It's from a forecaster's perspective. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of colors behind you. Paul, you were tracking this storm for a few days.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example of how the radar technology so benefits us. Now, this is the classic hook echo that we see with a strong tornado. You see this right here. When you see a counterclockwise hook like that, you have a pretty good bet that you have a tornado going on, but we have a lot more tools that we can use. Let's talk about this one. This is the velocity tool, and the radar can actually see wind inside of a storm. And the way it does that, you know, the wind is blowing the raindrops, and the radar can see the raindrops. Well, a raindrop that's blowing toward the radar, when that beam hits it, it bounces back to the radar at a higher frequency than the beam that bounces back when it hits raindrops that are blowing away from the radar. So these reds, the radar's down here, these reds are blowing away from the radar. These greens are blowing toward the radar, so you could actually see the circulation there. And now you can see how that circulation went right across Gaylord and was off to the east. We have another product called correlation coefficient. This actually shows us debris in the air. So raindrops and snowflakes, those are all uniform targets that are dropping. But when you have leaves and stop signs and branches and shingles in the air, that is a signal to the radar. And we see this radar, that's called a debris ball right there. So even if this was at night and we didn't have confirmation, we would have known there was a tornado just based on that, guys.
All right, thanks, Paul. And stick with Local 4 and click on Detroit.com for comprehensive coverage of the Gaylord tornado's impact as new information comes into our newsroom this morning.
Breaking news just in, the U.S. and South Korea will consider expanded military exercises to deter the nuclear threat from North Korea. It comes during a time where there is little hope of diplomacy. This is video of President Biden attending a meeting with the South Korean president this morning.
Before that meeting, the president paid his respects to South Korea's fallen soldiers, including those who fought alongside the U.S. in the Korean War. Biden's next stop is Japan. This is his first trip to Asia since taking office.
And here at home, the search continues for a driver in a road rage shooting and crash that left an innocent woman dead. It happened Thursday at the intersection of Middle Belt and Maplewood. Police say a pickup and SUV recklessly drove through a red light when shots were fired from one of those cars. The pickup driver then crashed into an innocent woman's car, and that driver then ran off before police arrested them. The woman died from her injuries. Police say they're looking for the other driver.
2 local police agencies are teaming up. It's all part of an effort to stop violence in the summer months, including in Greektown.
It's important that we collaborate, that we be able to help each other, share information, and come together to be able to solve crime, fight crime in the manner that we need to.
We want people to be safe. We don't want people to come down and get into situations and make impulsive decisions that literally changes their lives or hurt someone or hurt themselves. So
the plan includes increasing patrols and installing metal detectors. The chief and sheriff are also planning to go after those who are drag racing throughout the city this summer.
The Michigan Supreme Court says it wants more information from Governor Whitmer about her request to erase the state's 1931 abortion ban. The court wants 5 points addressed, including whether it needs to immediately get involved. This week, a judge at the Court of Claims froze the dormant law with an injunction. If the U.S. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, abortion would be an issue for the states. Governor Whitmer wants the state Supreme Court to declare that 1931 ban on abortion illegal under the state constitution, and she also wants the court to reach over lower courts and settle it quickly.
Well, we are talking about some showers this weekend
That's
after
right.
that severe weather that we've been tracking for several days.
And we've been talking to a resident gardener all morning long. Paul, if you've got some flowers that you want to plant, today's the kind of day that would be great for it. If you can plant it during that blip when there isn't rain and then let Mother Nature do her thing.
Well, if you can get out there and get those plants in between batches of showers and storms, then Mother Nature will do the watering for you. But we do have those storm chances today. There's even a marginal risk for severe weather for a part of the area. We'll break that down for you and talk about your Sunday as well, just in just a few minutes straight ahead.